Okay, we're going to get started. Bonjour, Anin, Menogajeb. Welcome everybody to the council meeting at Net Lake. Next month's council meeting will be in Vermilion. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 9:07 a.m. And we do not have Vern today, so we will be doing a moment of silence for invocation. Miigwech. With that, we'll do roll call, please.
Kathy Chavers.
Here.
Tara Giescher.
Here.
Travis Morrison.
Here.
Shane Drift.
Oma, here.
Robert Moyer.
Here.
Okay, next we have approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or corrections or?
Did you want to make that change, Luke?
Just for the resolution 85-2024, under me, I would like Representative Drift to present that.
Under 84-2024?
Yep, just that one resolution under me.
Okay. All right, if no other corrections or additions, we will call for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move.
Moved by Robert. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next we have meeting minutes of May 1, 2024.
I know that I had a question when we approved, I can't find it on here, where we approved the, there was a construction project, I think it was, and I was asking about a guarantee. And it was supposed to be presented to the construction firm. Do we know where we're at with that? If the guarantee was, guarantee of work was increased or offered, or if it was just accepted at a 1 year or 2 year?
I think that's, Shane, you were asking about like a 5-year, 10-year, and 2-year, but there was, you wanted a time period in that.
Yes, to increase the work guarantee at the last meeting, I brought that up where I think it's just a standard of maybe a year or 2 years where the contractor guarantees their work. But then I was asking if we could increase it because after the 1 or 2 years expires and then something does happen, then the tribe's on the hook for the expenses. And I know I brought it up to Jeff. If Jeff's on the line, and I asked that if it could be presented for this coming up project, that if they could increase the guaranteed, you know, like they go maybe 3 years or more, and that, so.
Yeah, I did get that to Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, sorry. I just was going to mention we, right now the contract is with the contractor reviewing. We made some initial proposals that increased kind of across the board guarantees and time periods for being able to bring suit as well, because I know that we had talked about that. So I'd have to look at what the specific proposal was, but that's all sitting with them now, Shane, and we'll see what their response is, and then circle back with you guys as the council to talk about kind of what those terms are and whether you're comfortable with them or whether we need to increase them more. So that's where it's at in the process. We did make sort of an initial draft proposal that did up those time periods in addition to what had previously been proposed.
So it's in negotiations right now with the contractor. So they got the contract like a week and a half ago, and so we're waiting for them to bring back their counter proposal.
You know, I think that, you know, with that, we need to do one of two things, maybe in both, is that to keep advocating to increase the guaranteed number of years, to increase it maybe from 2 years to 3 years, if possible. And if they can't, if they don't want to do that, then the tribe needs to look at creating another account to get a pool of money, so when something does happen to that construction project, that we're not scrambling to find money to cover the cost, that we already have it set aside for something. So, because you know how many times we had to basically come up with money to fix something, you know, where it went past the guaranteed work.
Okay, so set up an account like after it's constructed to cover anything that may happen?
Like an example, like if we set aside, let's say, 250,000, then after the guaranteed work is done, expired, then it comes up year 3, the construction project starts having issues or problems, then the tribe already has that money that's set aside to start fixing that problem, rather than wait for litigation. It's who's responsible. You got the architect pointing fingers, you got the construction contractor pointing fingers, and then in the meantime, the problem's still sitting there and getting worse.
I would suggest doing something like with the tax credit projects. You had to put so much aside every year for that, and then it would build up, and then when it got to the point where there's like major renovations or construction issues, then that money could be used for that. And so it's a certain dollar amount that you put aside in that account for that project or building, and that's how it builds up. And so tax credit 1, 2, and 3 always had some kind of pool of money for that kind of project.
That's good, because you know on that end that has the money for it, but the other construction projects we don't, and that's when we're starting to try to find money to cover some of the costs that, you know, that go with these. Kim?
Yeah.
75% of our buildings, excluding houses, is either eligible for IHS or BIA 105L funds, and that's exactly what it's for. So when we build, the existing buildings we negotiated on what's called the fair market appraisal lease rate. So those ones, that was the most efficient method to get it in. And part of that is we can set part of that aside for those buildings. Now, when we build a new building and it's eligible for 105L funds, when it's brand new, we're going to do the negotiations different. We're going to do it on actual and depreciation costs and replacement costs, which is a whole different thing. And it's a lot more detailed work, because like you negotiate into your 105L funds, like you get depreciation for your shingles over the IRS published guidelines. The water softener is a different, you know, time frames. So that's exactly why 105L is so important, and get those funds. So then we have a pool, it builds up, we don't have to spend and lose it, you know, type of grant fund, and you can build it up and have replacement costs for when those major repairs are needed.
Yes, you know, like you said, that 75% of the buildings have it, the other 25 don't. As an example, this building here, we're still having issues with it, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get them resolved, because the problem still exists and it's not being taken care of or addressed. So
yeah, this building is eligible for 105L lease, and it's being in the process of negotiated right now with the BIA. Was it eligible
prior to?
We can only go back to the date we sent the letter in, and that was May of last year.
So it wouldn't cover the cost then?
Well, we get a lump sum of money, and we can use the cost as we need to. We don't have to say that this much was for this or this, you know. So we budget it, we get it in, we get to budget how we need it, because we have, you know, I know there's original problems with the building because it leaks in my department from day one. I know that needs to be addressed, but like our generator is at its end of its useful life, and its parts aren't readily available, stuff like that, so it needs to be replaced. There's a lot of stuff with this particular building that needs to be done too.
How much is a generator?
A generator for this building, probably 500,000 or 600,000.
And I think we don't have it on hand.
What's that?
We don't have the money on hand to do it.
You have money in ARPA, you could do it, but we're working on the 105L where it would be eligible too. And there are Jeff, I think there was, because there's a bunch of email, because BIA is negotiating right now. And there's a flurry of emails going back and forth. And I think this building was on one of the questions this morning.
So how long
Or
is that
there was
process going to
comment.
take? How long is that process going to take?
I can't answer it because BIA just hired someone, and so we just got on the list. We've been in the queue for a year.
We're getting questions every other day on vetting leases.
Yeah.
So what I can say is they're actively working through the band's lease request, which is a good sign.
And our funding would go back to May of last year. It goes retroactive to the day that we submitted the request. So once they agree upon it and get all the paperwork, check all their boxes off, that we've submitted everything and to their satisfaction, we'll get prorated from May through September of last year, and then we'll get a whole year this year. And then it's just a matter of renewing the leases. We don't have to go through the negotiations each year.
So then that will cover the cost of repairing the problems that we're having with this building.
Yep.
All righty, got it on record. Thank you.
Miigwech, Kim. Any other comments on the meeting minutes?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Two more things. Is that when you guys approved me to submit the grant funding request to the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe Suicide Prevention Grant, it was approved. So, and I did forward you guys that email from Dr. Campbell. So that's an extra $25,000 to that'll go towards our Sagi Bagade's powwow. And then the other thing too is that I'm still waiting to hear about the resolution that would allow the Secretary Treasurer to conduct audits and or forensic audits without the council interference. Seems like that keeps falling by the wayside. And so I just want to know where we're at with that.
Didn't we do that, Jeff?
Yeah, a draft resolution was sent to you all, so I think it's just a matter of taking a look at that, revisiting it, and then deciding what you want to do with it. I can resend it.
Okay, thank you. I think it got lost in the shuffle there. Okay, any other questions?
Just on that last one where it's naming the secretary treasurer, how do I need to abstain from that resolution and not signing it? Or how do you want me to proceed with that, Jeff?
That's up to you. I don't know if there's not really there's not a legal rule that would require you to abstain. So if you want to stay out of that vote, that would be fine. If you want to participate, I think that's fine too. It's up to you.
Okay, yeah, I just think it's, not only for me, but future secretary treasurers too. So it's, it's a good thing. Thank you.
Okay, if no other questions, do we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 1, 2024?
Move.
Moved by Shane, is there a second? Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next, we have the consent agenda. We have one item, and it was approved donation request of $500 to the White Earth Urban Community Council powwow, and that vote was 4-0-0. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next we have, oh, go ahead.
One quick one on the donation committee recommendation, to make sure that that our powwow committee and goes to other areas and asks for donations too. If we're donating to other powwows and things like that, that our powwow committee extends and goes and asks other places, so we can all help each other out. So, thank you.
Okay, next we have Nikki Irving with the 2024 EMS Appreciation checks. Nikki?
Okay. So yeah, this is just something that you guys have done previously in the last couple of years. You'll see that there's a couple additions and deletions based on, whether they resigned or met the qualifications according to our policy now. So. And I don't remember what the total was, but I think it's like 14,000 total.
14,000?
Yeah.
It's a $250 check that's given to our emergency services, our fire and EMS. I just have a question. Was there, and this is a Kim Greiner question. Kim, was there an issue with giving law enforcement the BIA checks? I thought there was.
Oh, yeah, did I add them on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just didn't know if we could or not. So,
Okay.
But, okay.
Yes, there is. Law enforcement personnel cannot accept gifts of any certain, I don't know if it's even like a cup of I think a cup of coffee would be okay or something, but a dollar amount, there was an issue several years ago that came up that they're not allowed to by their BIA rules of being a law enforcement officer. I can get the information again if you want to find, I can try to find the ruling if you want.
Yeah, I thought I remembered that law enforcement, because they're BIA, they can't accept any monetary
I think that's, yeah.
bonuses or checks or thank yous or whatever.
Is there any way that, when you're searching, is there any way that you can see what we can reward them with even?
Yeah, I'm going to get hold of Jamie and I'll find out because he knows their policies better than I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if there is a dollar amount, 25 is usually standard is what I'm here, on federal. But yeah, could you just, because it's a little daunting to hear that they can't, out of everybody, they can't.
Yeah.
Is there anything to do with, I hate this split the law enforcement, but is there anything with tribal and then BIA?
That's a good question. I would have to research that one.
Okay.
Yep.
Please do that too then.
And I think it has, and if I remember right, it has to do if a law enforcement is taking a gift, it's perceived as a form of, or something, may influence their decisions or something like that, but don't, I have to look at it. It's been a long time, so.
Okay, Kim, if you could look at that, and then if the council's okay, we could do a motion to approve with Kim checking into the law enforcement issue and finding a way to somehow show our appreciation for their involvement.
I need to abstain from this vote because I'm on the ambulance and the fire.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the 2024 EMS fire appreciation checks? Moved by Tara.
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent?
Abstain, silent.
Motion carried. Okay, thank you, Nikki. Thank you to our emergency services personnel as well. It's very much appreciated. It's all volunteer and they give up a lot of their time for that, so personal time. Next, we have Carol Burr with resolution, is it 83-2024 or 84-2024?
83.
83, okay. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. So I'm here to present a resolution for approval to apply for a grant to IRRB for the housing rehab program. The amount we're applying for is $427,254. That
Okay.
amount will help with the rehabs in Vermilion.
Okay, oh, yep.
What was that amount?
$427,254.
And Carol, this was what we were talking about at the last meeting with regards to the ARPA HUD funding, and this was in addition to that. You said you were going to apply for it? Okay.
Yep. So this will be an addition that ARPA HUD money is the match.
Yep.
We didn't want to go for the full amount because we weren't sure if we would get that much, but yeah. And they have the application already. I just need to get approval.
Oh, okay.
Give them the resolution.
Okay.
It had to be there by Monday. So I sent them all the paperwork and told them the resolution will be coming hopefully today.
Okay.
No, you said that there was a match to this. How much is that match and where is it coming from?
Coming from the HUD ARPA dollars?
Okay.
Yep. So it's saving their dollars so they can do some units over in
Vermilion. Yeah. Okay, any other questions for Carol? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve resolution number 83, 2024, the Bois Forte Housing Rehab Program, IRRR funding application for $427,254.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second? Second by Shane? Robert. Speak up, Robert. I can't hear you. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Yeah, that's what, no, it's 83. Yeah. Okay, next Carol has a Lake Country Power Service Line Agreement.
So this service line agreement is the agreement for us to move the power line for the Public Works Maintenance Garage, the Food Shelf and Head Start building that's going up. They need to, they're going to take the power line and put it underground.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so they need this in order to proceed. And then I also need it in order to pay them the $44,000 so they can get started ASAP.
Okay, any questions for Carol?
How much is that amount we're paying them?
$44,000. And it's coming out of the grant, the funding.
Okay.
If no other questions, do we have a motion to approve the Lake Country Power Service Line Agreement? Moved by Robert.
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Good job, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was pretty
Keep up the
shocking.
good work.
Oh, shit.
That's Good morning, Doris.
Good morning. I have a couple of things. Excuse me. The first one is a work order approval for DSGW to do phase 1 and phase 2 of the Food Shelf project. And just a little background on that is that we got a grant from the Minnesota Department of Human Services Capital Food Shelf Project in the amount of $620,409,000. Sorry, $620,409. So the grant expires June of 27, and the purpose of the grant is to install water and a bathroom and an HVAC system at the current food shelf in the lake.
Okay.
The renovation would include installing a permanent wall down the center of the building for better climate control. And the phase 1 project is basically what that was is preliminary designs for A&E, and that totaled $4,300. And that's going to be paid through health. department to, I believe, third party.
Okay.
And then phase 2 would be paid through the grant. And that amount is $45,115.
Okay. I know that when the food shelf went up, it was a rush deal because the projects had to be done by a certain time period. Then after it got closer to the time period, they extended it, and that's why we did this in the winter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we weren't able to put in water and sewer, so this will be a nice addition to that building out there.
Yeah, yeah, it'll help with sanitary
Yep.
cleaning and cleaning the floors and wiping down the shelves and the furniture and vegetables and whatever.
Yep, good. Any questions for Doris on the DSGW service order agreement, phase 1 and 2? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the service order agreement with DSGW.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried.
So along with that, I included on the agenda just discussion on the building ownership.
Oh.
There's question on where the funds came from to build the building, and who is actually utilizing the building or assigned to it. And the reason why we ask is that the food shelf currently is using half of it, and then I think the other half was used public works, although they haven't really fully utilized it anymore, or yet. Right now, there's shelving in there, and basically that's all I see.
Go ahead, Kim.
Oh, I had just heard that. The funds to build it was the BIA CARES Act funds when we built it, and it was a building, and part of it was storage, not necessarily just for public works, because during COVID, you remember we had to pull a lot of furniture out and we had to store equipment. And so they're very good questions because I don't think it was, there's other people who need storage too.
When the food shelf was built, it was intended to be for half food shelf and half storage for programs or whatever. And it was never really defined at that point what type of storage or who would be utilizing that storage. That's why those shelves are in there on the half that's not being used. And I know that a lot of the programs lack storage space. So I'm not sure what, Nikki?
I just wanted to point out that we do have a meeting set up with Terry and Brian and this afternoon to discuss this.
So the reason why it comes up is that during the course of our meetings, the health department, or Terry's program, they're short of office space. And so they possibly would like to use that area for their office space. And the reason why it comes up now is because we're going to be building that partition in there. And if it needed, you know, depending on what is done or what they decide they ultimately need, that partition, the permanent wall, could be moved further back, and it could be divided differently, you know, however they decide, if it's like quarter use of it or whatever. But anyway, if that building was theirs, the health department, then they would utilize the whole building for office space and storage and whatever.
Yeah, I know that health, well, Terry had that community health building that she had wanted to get funded, but it didn't get funding. And we know that there's a lack of space for health and human services. Doris, would you like to come to our meeting this afternoon to make them aware of the funding and all that? We'll discuss that at, I don't know, what time is it? 2? 2 to 3?
Okay.
and we'll discuss that, and then we'll figure something out. But thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, thank you.
Miigwech. Thank you, Doris. Okay, next we have Shane. Shane and Theresa. Theresa. Okay. Sorry, Theresa. I misunderstood something. Go ahead. Go ahead, Theresa. Theresa has Resolution 84, 2024, accept Minnesota Tribal Nations FHPAP direct allocation, set aside funding and grant agreement. Go ahead, Theresa.
Don't scare me like that.
Okay.
So this resolution is for funding from the legislature for the FHPAP program, which stands for Family Homeless Prevention and Assistance Program. They awarded the tribes, all tribes in Minnesota, $909,091 for a grant term. We kind of were able to decide the length of, or like how long we wanted to spend it. We have put, I think, 3 years in our resolution. So this program would help pay for past due rents, deposits, utilities, and there's some other items that we can use this for, like helping people move, furniture, that sort of thing. The goal of the program is to assist people and make sure that they maintain their housing stability or help them move into new housing. This program, Bois Forte has had this program for, I want to say at least 10, maybe 12 years. So this is just in addition to funding that we've already been, or program that we've already been utilizing.
Okay, this is the Family Homeless Prevention and Assistance Program. So basically it's for the homelessness program to help people not become homeless by helping with rents, but also helping people who currently are homeless with trying to get those deposits and whatever they may need to get that housing stability.
Yep, and help them, so there's funding for salaries so that we can have more housing resource case managers so that we can assist people finding housing and like, kind of becoming good tenants is kind of one of the goals as well with the case management.
Good. Any questions for Theresa?
Yes, with this funding, because I know I talked to Dan, HHS CEO, about putting somebody down at the urban office in Duluth and also the Twin Cities and helping if we could move the urban office into a new facility, and if this would be able to help do that, put a person there who does case management, is that possible?
Yep, that's actually in our plan for the housing. Well, we're kind of, I think we're calling ourselves the housing placement team at the moment, but that might change. Is to have a case manager both in Duluth and one in the Twin Cities to help facilitate the use of this. And because those ladies, Wendy and Jackie, need help with this because housing case management is a full-time job on its own. And we really need the resources to be able to get to our folks in the metro and in Duluth and outstate Minnesota more efficiently, so more staff. So yes, the funding is available for that.
So I think that, I brought this up to Luke yesterday, is that the Duluth Urban Office lease is coming up, and it's just going to be due, I think, either June or July. And if we're going to be doing this, how soon would this person be able to be on, or these people be able to be on board? Don't know.
As soon as we can get the jobs posted and get them hired. So.
Because if we're going to put a person in at the urban office in Duluth, they're going to need a bigger place. And I would hate to have them work remotely or from their car because it's going to be too cramped.
I think the idea that we have at the moment is that person would be a hybrid position so that they could work from home, but then they would be going to see clients in the field or go to their homes or meet them at locations to assist them. And then when Wendy is out of the office, then there would be coverage at the urban office so that the office would not be empty if someone needed assistance.
Yeah, but that's still a pretty small office. It's just pretty small. I think we should probably have a meeting on just that and see where we want to go and what we want to do. Sit down with Wendy and Jackie and sort this all out.
It's a really good program, and you know, as we're really growing as far as staffing and services and expanding, and so I think that brings up a good point about the especially the Duluth Urban Office with space. So you know, maybe we can set up a meeting, Luke, with Kim and the council and the urban office people to come up with some ideas, because it's really hard to find office space right now too. So if we can keep our eyes open and see what might be available in the Duluth area for sure. And then Minneapolis with Jackie as well. But yeah, this sounds like a great program. Again.
One last question is that, you know, with this grant, is indirect allowed to be taken out?
Yep, it's capped at 15%. Yeah.
Kim, what is our rate, the tribal government rate? Okay. All right.
For those that didn't hear, our rate is 24% for indirect cost. Okay, any other questions? Sarah?
I have a few questions. I see that it says 15 with rapid rehousing. There's going to be 150 in prevention of the households. What is rapid rehousing? Do you have a definition for that, or what is?
Yes, so that's if someone is homeless or loses their housing, then that's the assistance that we would give them to help them get back into housing. So we try to get them moved in as quickly as possible. So providing deposits and first month's rent and utility deposits and potentially furniture if they don't have anything.
There you go. Oh, okay. Because that's, if we're talking both urbans, I know this is really good. This is an awesome grant. But 15, you know, in a 3-year period, that's 5 per year. So you know, we're gonna, I know that that's good that we're doing 5, but wouldn't that be awesome if we could do, you know, 30 a year? So
Yes.
I don't know, I'm just.
Yeah, so I think these are like the minimum amounts. It's not that we can't do more. It's that we want to make sure that we get at least this many. Yeah. We're not limited to 15 households.
Okay, if no other questions for Theresa, do we have a motion to approve Resolution 84, 2024 to accept the FHPAP direct allocation set-aside funding and grant agreement? Moved by Shane. Is there a second? Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Good job, Theresa.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Okay, Kim Greiner, the floor is yours. Kim has 3 items: proposal acceptance for new accounting for new software, and then proposal acceptance for GASB Statement 87 compliance services, and sole source request for Avenue Insights and Analytics annual payment. Good morning, Kim. Oh.
The first item is the acceptance of our recommendation for our new software. It is not only accounting software, it's an ERP system, so it'll have a lot more comprehensive stuff in there. So we've been through this extensive process, which the council is very well aware of. We started, we had 5 when we started that turned in proposals. We reviewed those, we sat through demonstrations of all 5, and we narrowed it down to 3. And then we came up with a recommendation. There was a lot of scoring. The CLA did a scoring sheet, so like when we went through, CLA came in and interviewed all the key players. Everybody said what they wanted to see it do. they put that into part of their proposal, and it has a ranking system that's tied to points. And then when they showed us how it did it, it ranked, they put points in there. So there was like the functionality requirements. So after much effort and review from the staff, it's recommended that we go with Tyler Technologies as our ERP software. Tyler Technologies is the best fit and value for Bois Forte tribal government. The company is focused on government software needs since the late 1960s. Each vendor that presented had many pros and cons with it. This vendor has a human resource information system that is fully integrated into this package. This includes benefit tracking, employee self-serve, timekeeping, and other functions. Program managers will have access to their budgets and real-time information. There'll be roll-ups to the tribal council for tribal government program, so you can have a dashboard. The ERP system will be implemented in 2 segments, and I would be recommending that we implement the HRIS portion, and this would be the same with any package we did first. And so with a target go live date of January 1st, 2025 with the HR, employees would have self-serve, a lot more employee tracking information, that do a lot more statistics. And then the financial reporting segment would be second, and they go concurrently, but it'd be 16 to 18 months when the financial side would be up and going. So, and this doesn't matter which project we were doing, they were all about the same timelines, or which vendor we went with, but there's some other things that we have to consider going into that. We have to redesign our chart of accounts. We have a lot of paper documents to be uploaded. This really focused around HR. That's in accounting, we started at the beginning of COVID scanning a lot of our documents onto a shared drive. So we have some of our stuff scanned. HR needs to scan a lot, and all our grant documents would need to be scanned too. So that's, we have to figure out a solution for that. We may have to hire some workers to scan. There's a lot of information, and then there's a lot of discussion on what type and what previous data we roll into the system. So those are things that will be vetted out, but all I'm asking is the permission to go with Tyler Technologies and begin negotiation of a contract with Jeff.
This has been a long process, but it's been, because I know you guys were in the demos, and then, having everybody look at everything, try to meet their needs. It's been a very long process, so I'm glad you finally came down to the end. I do have one question. When you start in January 1, which that was our target date, with the HR, and you said 16 to 18 months should be up and going. When the HR is being done, is accounting a part of that as well?
Yeah.
Because it's a site,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
So what we have to do is, we have to get the redesign of the chart of accounts done at the same time. So they're going along parallel.
Parallel, that's what I was wondering, okay.
And so there's different parts to it. And so because when we set up and go live on the HR side, we have to know what accounts that we're going to be charging, have a crosswalk, it's called, to what accounts we're charging their salaries and benefits to. So that all has to be, done before that.
It is going to be a lot of learning and a lot of work, but in the long run, I think it'll be a big benefit for the tribe and for the accounting staff and HR and staff in general and directors. So, okay. Any other questions, Jane?
Yes. Now with the system, we'll be able to connect with, let's say, as an example, with KBFT. When I worked with KBFT, I did a lot of my billing and all that, and then I had to send them down to accounting. and all that, and is that
It's
the,
all fully integrated. It's a
Oh.
completely fully
so
integrated.
it'll be like
system.
with New Moon and,
Yep.
okay. All righty, that's all I have.
Any other questions for Kim?
Just for like the audience, and when you're saying ERP and all these acronyms and everything,
Uh-huh.
can you just kind of, if you're going to do the acronym,
Yeah.
say what it is and explain a little bit more and get out of that accounting mode?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what
Thanks.
ERP stands for. I've been using it for so long. Enterprise Resource, I want to say program, but don't, because it's not only accounting, it's a lot more. So it has like, once we apply for a grant, it has the grant tracking in there. It has the grant, it gives the program managers notices when they need to be filing certain reports, and it stores all the, everything will be stored electronically. So there's all electronic documents instead of us having tons and tons of paper records. It'll be stored on the cloud. Then when you get into there's all the finance stuff, and then there's the budgeting and reporting. There's the employment stuff. There's asset tracking. So even like when you hire an employee and you give them a laptop, a work ID, all this stuff, it's all tracked in their personnel, in their HR stuff, so that when they separate for whatever reason from there, you can go back and verify that you got all that stuff.
So it'd be like to be able to, remind people of employees' anniversary date, hey, your evals due.
Yep, I think all that's in there. It keeps all their evals in there. It just has, instead of, like Miranda was describing in the demos, she says they have 7 file cabinets full of personnel records of the current employees,
Wow.
So that's what I talked about. We have to scan that stuff and get it in. In talking with Dan, he was in charge of the conversion at the Virginia hospital when they went from paper to electronic. And he said that I don't know if it was a service or if it was a special scanner you get, and you scan it in and it has barcodes on it. And then when you upload it to, it goes to automatically to their person's place. I got to talk to him more about it, but we still need a physical someone still's got to take the staples out and put the papers in the scanner. And I won't take Saturdays and Sundays off. I'm just kidding.
Any other comments or questions for Kim?
I just have one. When this does go in on January 2025, is it 18 months that they're going to work with us? Or is it renegotiable after 18 months? Because this process might take
Yeah, well,
longer.
there's support services that goes, this is for, these proposals are for 5 years. But that's the conversion process getting to there. One other thing I didn't mention about Tyler, I know we have a different software at this time, but Tyler does have a whole court reporting system. We have a different one right now, but when at a point in time, if they want to consider and we like it, we can convert. Tyler does do the whole state of California for courts.
I know you involved, all the staff, well, a majority of the county staff to look at all of the vendors and provide input, but in your email here, you only have 3.
That's all
people.
that, I asked everyone for input. That's what I received for input.
Okay.
No, everybody had an opportunity.
Because I just see that the 2 are fairly new, fairly new to the system, or to Bois Forte here. So I'm like, I'd like to have somebody like Erin, who's been in there for a long time, and she would know.
Yep, I gave everybody an opportunity to email.
I just
we did talk
just
about
thought
it
that was
personally
kinda-
too. we did, after they were all done, we sat and talked, and Aaron was involved, Beth was involved, other people. Randy was in and out due to his schedule, but, I guess the biggest thing for, is like Tyler is government only. Then the second one that came up second was, the company was Arctic, IT, and they were proposing Microsoft Dynamics. If ever the council wanted one complete system, we would have to go with Arctic Dynamics, but if you look at the price difference between the two, I don't, I'm just, full disclosure, I think it was in there, but like I said, Tyler was the best fit.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that I,
Yeah. No, we had
a little,
lots of
somebody a little
discussion.
more senior, I think, many years here would have been
Yeah.
helpful too, but
And
okay, that's okay with me.
Yep, and our third one that made it to the final round was Workday. But if you look at, they don't have much, they only work with the really, really big, rich tribes, and their cost is really extensive. Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments for Kim? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve Kim to begin negotiations with the ERP system under Tyler Technologies as the new ERP software vendor. Moved by Tara. Is there second by Shane? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. That's a huge project. Good job, Kim. Yay.
We're making progress. We
Yes,
are.
yes.
I don't think it's readily visible to other people,
Right.
but we are making
Great job.
progress.
Okay.
The next item I have is the acceptance of the proposals to do some GASB Statement 87 work. GASB is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. I do know that one. That is the governing board that sets the standards for governmental accounting. There's a counterpart that's FASB, that's financial accounting, and there's governmental accounting. They come out with the rules of what you have to do, are required to be in your financial statements, which the auditors have to audit to. So the lease, GASB 87 has to do with leases and capitalization of leases. It is the leases that we lease for buildings, we're the, we lease like office space, like Duluth in the urban offices, I-Falls, stuff like that. We lease billboards. There's what's called embedded leases. We have to, which is we get equipment free. So we get equipment from, say, a custodial company. They give us like the paper towel dispensers for free for the buildings, but we can only buy for them. Or like a lot of times copiers are embedded leases. You buy from them, but you can only, you have to buy toner use, there's stuff like that. So there's a lot of different moving areas. And then we're also a leaseor. We lease houses and realty.
Yep.
And we lease buildings too. Those also have to be reviewed and capitalized and certified. So this is the proposal for doing this, and I have my rating sheet there, and I'm recommending going with CLA. We had 4 people propose on that, and I had sent it to like 8, and some like our current auditors had to decline because it's a conflict of interest. Some just didn't have the capacity to take on new clients. So.
And this was something that was just, was newly added, was the leasing for the audits, right?
Yeah, it started in audits ending in 2022 and beyond.
Okay.
And so we're wrapping up the 21. And so this summer we'd be working on this because we're going to, in the fall, we'll start the field work on the 22 audit. And with the goal of having it done by the end of December. So we need to get this done to get that done, you know.
Yep.
It's all putting it in place. And then this is, and then there's another similar one coming in, I don't remember which year it implemented. And that has to do with software subscriptions.
Oh.
It's kind of a similar thing.
Okay.
But they're always adding new standards because I think I got an email from firms, I think they're on 102 or 103 get proposed standards coming out, you know.
Okay.
So they're always coming up with
Updating.
yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Kim on the proposal of acceptance for GASB Statement 87 compliance services?
Amount, Kim?
CLAs is 30,800. And I did put in a request for technical assistance from the DIA
Okay.
for this stuff.
Okay.
I haven't heard back, but I did. Tried to find other additional sources.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve acceptance of CLA for the GASB Statement 87 compliance services in the amount of $30,800?
I'll move.
Moved by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Yay. Good job, Kim.
And the last item I have is the annual software support for our current system. It's kind of in transition from between our new delegation of authority and an old contract, you know, kind of overlapping, but it's also a sole source because we can't go get another company to give us support on someone else's software. So, and we'll keep, one thing to realize is that the AS400 we own, it's here physically, you know, we'll access the data as long as the machine still runs as needed, you know. We'll be relying on it less and less, but if something has to be looked up, it's there till, you know.
Okay.
So we do have to keep maintenance for a while and support for a while.
Okay.
I was gonna tease you, Kim. I was gonna say, then we can, when it's all done and we're finished with it, we can put it in the Heritage Center. No, I'm just kidding.
It's an artifact. It's a relic.
Any questions for Kim on the sole source request for Avenue Insights and Analytics? If there's no questions, I'll call for a motion to approve that sole source request for Avenue Insights and Analytics annual payment in the amount of $18,453.53.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Okay, next we have Shane. Thank you, Kim. Good job. Keep up the good work. Next we have Shane with Resolution 85, 2024, Tribal State of Emergency for Anishinaabemowin.
Yes, it feels good to finally see that that the Tribal Council is taking action on this. As you know, recently we just lost another elder, a fluent elder. She was very knowledgeable in a traditional way, in a language, in a culture, and we as a Tribal Council, we need to do everything we can to ensure that our language, culture, and traditions continue on, no matter what. You know, and you know, I've been pushing for this for a while now, and it feels good to finally see that it's just going to be addressed and taken care of. Here, take a look at it.
Yeah, we've got it. Yeah, we've got it on our pads. Any questions for Shane? Or I really don't think there's any questions. It's common sense, but it's really nice again for Shane to do that, because we did talk about that at that Chippewa Federation meeting, and it was approved there as well. And so it's a really good idea. The language our first speakers are passing on, and we really need to get going with that. And just for everybody's information, we will be having a meeting on the language and culture that Shane has been requesting. We're in the process of getting this set up, so we will be getting that meeting done.
And on a different note too, a similar note actually, is that I submitted a request to the end of the year BIA funding, and I put in there stuff to bring Linda Blackout back to Bois Forte to help share her knowledge on how to gather the plants and medicines and when to pick them. Also to bring Billy Blackwell back to Bois Forte to sit down and share his stories of Bois Forte and record them at the same time. You know, and that we as a council need to really start pushing the language, culture, and traditions, you know, and having these events so that band members can attend and learn and make everything that was once common again common. Thank you.
Miigwech, Shane.
I'd like
Oh,
to,
go ahead.
I'd like to just add, to make sure that when we do sign this resolution, we pass it, we sign it, Kathy and I sign it, that a copy goes to all the cultural, you know, programs for Bois Forte, Vermilion, Nett Lake. A copy goes to both urban offices. A copy goes to wherever it needs to go to revitalize our Anishinaabemowin and culture. I know there's a lot of strong programs here, so I think that would be a welcome addition, you know, to insert into their grants, saying that, look at what our tribal council has done, you know, and hopefully it scores points on grants. You know, that was one of the objectives that I wanted to see. So make sure that all our programs get a copy of this. Miigwech.
Good idea, Tara. With that, oh, go ahead. No, you can vote on it. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution 85, 2024, Tribal State of Emergency for Anishinaabemowin?
I'll move.
Moved by Tara.
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Okay, with that, we are now at the end of our meeting, and I just want to say to everybody, enjoy the spring now, and have a good day, and we appreciate everybody tuning in to us from out in the world there, and we want everybody to have a good Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully get some sun rays and get fishing and whatever they may do, but spending time with their families as well and enjoying their families. So we would just like to say that.
I'd also like to say, you know, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So go ahead and enjoy all those programs that Bois Forte is putting on, and take care of yourself. That's the only person that can help you is yourself first. And just reach out to any of your friends, relatives, and of course our awesome Bois Forte Behavioral Health Program for all the help that you need. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Tara. Good words. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn at 10:10 a.m.? Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Second by Robert. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Gigawabaman. Have a good day, everybody. Miigwech.
So then we have